Good afternoon, Texans and Texans. I'm Azia Branson here with your Texan Sports Minute, and this is
Todd Coley.
This week in sports, we have Tarleton going crazy, 3 or 4 sports going on right now. Basketball, volleyball, football, basketball women's and men's beginning tonight. National sports, we have some interesting stories, a lot of sports ending and beginning this week as well. And so to start out, we're going to talk about the Tarleton football team. This last week, they suffered a sad loss to San Angelo here at home. Am I right?
Head scratcher. It was a head scratcher. They
Yes.
were up with just a few minutes left. Make some questionable play calls, and all of a sudden, you're giving the ball back to the team with just a 6-point lead, and it's not going to hold up apparently. So it was interesting on defense what they were able to do. It wasn't quite good enough. Angelo State was a team that you thought you were going to be able to win, and it would have been nice to have won your last home game, but here we are. We're traveling back to Commerce this next weekend for the tournament play, and they probably have some pretty bad memories they'd like to get rid of
Yes,
out there.
I agree with that.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, even though the season wasn't the best, they ended on a loss, they still made it to the tournament, which I guess is good, and they have a chance to still win the Lone Star Conference Championship, so that would be exciting. First time for this event.
Yeah, that would be quite the turnaround if they could. It feels like just yesterday that Commerce blew them out very badly, so it will be interesting. But as that's winding down, we are starting with basketball, talking about a team that plays well. The Texan basketball team, they're ranked, I've seen 2 polls so far for Division II, and one of them had them ranked 10th and one of them had ranked 15th. So tonight, actually, they will be playing against TCU, and that is actually not at the TCU Event Center. That they're doing a renovation on that right now.
I saw that. I was kind of disappointed.
It's like a $59 million renovation.
Yeah.
So it's going to be at the Wilkerson Grimes Athletic Center instead of the Daniel Meyer Coliseum. Now that's down 20 a little ways from TCU. So if you're familiar with the area, it's over by 20 and 35 near Wichita Street. So it's going to be interesting. Should see hopefully some high-flying action. What are you most excited for?
First of all, the beginning of basketball season here at Tarleton. I love our Texan basketball team. They're awesome. I'm excited to see, because I feel like tonight, a lot of guys will get some time to play just to be able to see what everybody can do. So I'm excited about that, seeing the new guys and seeing the old guys in their new positions, as Coach Reisman kind of talked about in our interview with him yesterday. So that's what I'm most excited about. What about you?
Well, I told my buddy I was covering the game tonight, and he said, "Is it going to be a blowout?" And I said, "Yeah, it will be, but TCU is going to be on the wrong side of that blowout." So
That's true.
I'm pretty excited for it. Anytime you can measure yourself against a Big 12 school, even if it's a new Big 12 school that doesn't maybe take basketball quite as seriously as their football program, still going to be a good measuring stick for Tarleton. And I know the guys are excited to play out there. So I did get an interview with Associate Head Coach Chris Reisman. So we'll go ahead and cut to that interview now. Some highlights from that.
It's been a great experience, growing up watching Tarleton State University play. Always had a passion for Tarleton athletics, especially the basketball team, and being able to play under Coach Reisman obviously was just a blessing. And through that time with him, realized my passion was really to go into coaching. I actually started as a pre-med major, got my degree in pre-med and pre-dental, and that 5th year when I was kind of shadowing, just kind of figured out my passion was to stay around the basketball program. Coach gave me an opportunity, and I got the chance to work under some great assistant coaches, and paid my dues and got elevated through the program, and have just had a tremendous run here at Tarleton State with Coach Reisman, and so I've enjoyed it, and it's been great. But every once in a while, some of these Division I schools, that they're just like us, they're trying to get ready for the upcoming season. Sometimes you don't want to play a Division I opponent in an exhibition. At our level, same thing. You don't really exhibition a lot of Division IIs, so you give an opportunity to some of these local schools. And so Baylor's done it in the past, Texas A&M's done it in the past, and so every once in a while you get this opportunity, and we are looking forward to it because we're going to get a chance to see a lot of things about our team. What we need to work on. Weaknesses, strengths, player personnel, who plays well together, who's still developing chemistry. And so anytime you can play a Big 12 level caliber competition, it gives you a lot of good film, a lot of things to work on when you get back to the practice floor. And so we're looking forward to the challenge, and I know TCU is going to have a great team, and they're going to give us a lot to work on. The first thing that we tell them is a lot of these polls are based on how you finished last year, and a lot of it has to do with the tradition of the program. And so you can't go out there thinking that you're carrying over last season's success. And you know, we had a very experienced team last year. We had 4 starters returning. We had a lot of players that had played in the national tournament, that had played big minutes to win the Lone Star Conference Championship the year before that. This year, we have a lot of returners, but we also have a lot of new players that are going to be instrumental for us. And so this is a completely different team. I think what we've tried to explain to them, that ranking has only put a big bullseye, a big target on their back. And so now they have to be ready to get everybody's best shot from the beginning. And that's an adjustment, especially for some of these transfers and these freshmen that are coming out of high school programs where that may have not have been the case night in and night out. So just really getting them ready expectation-wise is what we've been trying to do, talking to them in practices and in film sessions.
All right, next in sports, we are going to talk about the Texan volleyball team, who is having an incredible year, as we've talked about in the previous weeks. They did fall to West Texas last week, but I mean, what do you see, you know, in the end of their season right now going on to the playoffs?
Well, we mentioned measuring sticks, talking about Tarleton basketball, and this West Texas loss was an eye-opener for somebody who follows them. Now, we did get an interview with Jasmine Brown and Coach Jessica Ramirez, and you know, they said that they felt good that they'll be able to get to West Texas in tournament time. But I mean, West Texas is a team that's undefeated in conference play. You lose 3-0 in your match against them, but you know, they've done so well throughout the season that they've built themselves a cushion. So hopefully they're regrouping right now. Got 1 game left against Angelo State, and then tournament time starts. So what about you? What have you seen from them?
Just a lot of excitement. The team chemistry, I think, is something when it comes to tournament play that's really going to carry them over some other teams who may not have that chemistry as well. And just the fact that, you know, they're playing teams that they've already played, and I think that, you know, multiple games they're going to, like, know the teams better, and they're going to be able to, you know, come out on top. So, you know, I'm excited to see how the games go this weekend, and just hope that they come out with a good end to the season, regular season, and win this weekend.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, you mentioned, like we say every week, those girls all love each other a lot, so that close-knit bond hopefully will help them in tournament play when you're playing games back-to-back. And like you also mentioned, they do have a familiarity with these teams. So like I mentioned, that video with Coach Jessica Ramirez and Jasmine Brown, we'll go ahead and air some of those highlights right now for y'all. Todd Coley with the Texan News, with the Texan Sports Minute, here with Texan Volleyball Assistant Coach Jessie Ramirez and Senior Jasmine Brown. Ladies, thank y'all so much for stopping by today. Now, Coach Ramirez, you played here, and you're an all-time leader at Tarleton for sets played, over 3,200 assists in your career, and you're also one of only 2 players in school history to have over 1,000 assists and 1,000+ digs. So I feel like you might be well-versed in the sport of volleyball. So explain a little bit about how you've kept these girls on track so well this season and managed to get to the record that y'all have at 20-6.
Well, I think just the experience of playing here and playing under Coach Schindler and now working for her, I'm able to offer them a kind of a unique perspective on just what we want and then how to communicate that. But these girls are amazing to coach and just very respectful and just the ideal.
Now, Jasmine, reflect a little bit about how having a Coach Ramirez here who played volleyball just a few years ago. I'm trying to think, did y'all play together? You were a freshman when she was a senior, so explain a little bit about how easy it is to relate to her as a coach.
Oh, I love it. Not just because she's sitting there either, but I really love it. She is an amazing person, always has a smile on her face. When you have that in the gym, nothing can go wrong. Seriously.
Okay, now Coach, just talk a little bit about, we mentioned you were here while Jasmine was still here, or while Jasmine's still here, the difference between when she was a freshman and now that she's a senior, the few years that's taken, how the program's changed a little bit.
Well, I think like the basis of the program is still there, all like the core values, what just Tarleton Volleyball stands for and how the girls represent themselves, but honestly, they are so much better athletically, skill-wise, just their potential from when I played, I mean, we were okay, but now they're just playing on a different playing field. And so it's exciting to see that. And it's, that's what you want for a program. You don't want them to stay the same, even though, you want to think that like your team had it, or you know what I mean? You want them to continuously get better and progress, and it's exciting to see that. I know they're a lot better than when I was here.
Now on to the national sports scene. A lot of football going on. Cowboys, they started 6-1, losers of 2 straight, so not looking quite as good as they were. There was a lot of Cardinals fans in attendance on Sunday, and they got to see Brandon Whedon throw pretty much the kind of game you would expect Brandon Whedon to throw. So, you catch any of the Cowboys game, Azia?
Yeah, I did catch a bit of that game. Not the good parts for the Cowboys, obviously, if there were very many. But I mean, people are very much hating on Brandon Whedon, and for, I guess, good reason. But, you know, it takes a lot to be an NFL quarterback, and a lot of comparison to Tony Romo. How about Tony Romo? Or you think he's going to be there this
Well,
weekend?
I mean, you mentioned Brandon Whedon. I'll go ahead and say he's no Colt McCoy, but no, Tony Romo this week. I'm confident he'll play. I'm not that confident that he's going to be 100%. And what I'm worried about is with that back, just one wrong hit or something, and it could be a season-ending injury. It could be a career-ending injury at this point in Tony Romo's career. So I was okay with Brandon Whedon starting last week, and I was hoping that he would play decent enough to give you confidence that he can beat Jacksonville, and then we could take Tony Romo out of the Jacksonville game. He's got a bye next week, but unfortunately, it looks like you're going to need Tony Romo just to beat Jacksonville. So. We'll see. Nick Foles broke his collarbone. The Eagles are who you're wanting to compete with for division championships. So they're going to be resting on Mark Sanchez, which is a scary thought for most fans in the Northeast. But, it should be an interesting race for the division crown.
What do you think about the game in London? Cowboys being America's team, they probably have the most fans, at least here, in the nation, which also makes them popular probably worldwide. Do you think there'll be more Cowboys fans at the game?
I think that there's going to be a lot of Cowboys fans. What I've noticed from those London games is people will show up in
whatever they have.
It'll be like a Dolphins and Jaguars or something, and people will be wearing like a 49ers shirt. They just show up in any NFL gear that they have. So, like you mentioned, Cowboys always have a huge following, so it should be good. There should be plenty of Cowboys fans there.
Awesome. Also in football, we had America's game, Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady, whichever. It's always a great matchup. Sometimes, most of the time, ending in a Peyton Manning loss. Like this weekend, why does Peyton Manning struggle so much against Tom Brady?
I asked my dad. I felt like a little kid. I was like, Dad, why does Peyton Manning always lose to Tom Brady? And he didn't have an answer either. So, all I can think is Bill Belichick just knows how to control Peyton Manning. They've seen each other a million times. I don't know if you caught all the game, but there was a point where Bill Belichick tried to pull his whole punt unit off of the field and then run his team out to go for a 4th and 1 when they were up like 23. So Bill Belichick always keeping it classy. So, I don't know. It doesn't matter if Tom Brady's record is nowhere near as good as Peyton's. Once they meet head-to-head, it seems like Tom Brady's always coming out on top.
Yeah. So. But, what really matters is who goes to the playoffs. So
and we've seen them in the playoffs together. So it should be.
I would like to see that.
Yeah,
again.
It'll be interesting if the AFC Championship goes through New England. I don't feel like Denver can go out there and win in January when they need to.
Yeah. All right. Also in basketball, we have the Mavs doing really well. I saw some power rankings that they're number 3 already, so that's pretty exciting. What are you liking about the Mavs?
What's not to like? They lost that game 1 against San Antonio. Since then, they've won 3 in a row. They won against the Pelicans on the road. They were up 30 against the Celtics now in the second quarter. That was the last game, and then I guess that was Monday night. I flipped over to Monday Night Football, turned back on the game, and the Celtics are within like 9. And I was like, what? So it looked a lot closer than it was. They got out of there with a win. So I know in that Celtics game, Dirk had 27 and Chandler Parsons had 29. So good to see Chandler Parsons getting his groove here in Dallas. And you like to see those shots going in. They were draining threes. So I like it. I think they're really good. I'm hoping that we're going to see a Spurs-Mavericks playoffs rematch in the conference finals, hopefully.
All right. Also, most exciting news of the week. Since we last talked on the Sports Minute, the World Series has ended.
Feels
finally.
like forever ago. Who even?
It really was a long series. A really great series, 7-game series. You always want to see that, especially if you're a baseball fan. No matter who the team is, you want to see a good series. And the Giants came out on top. That was an exciting win. Madison Bumgarner is an animal.
MVP.
I saw a tweet that said something like, things no one says, Madison Bumgarner is human. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, what did you come out from that World Series?
Oh, well, I mean, I got to admit, Giants are a dynasty. You win 3 championships in 5 years. That's, you can't take that away from anybody. As much as I hate that their dynasty started with a win over the Rangers, but, you got to give Bruce Bochy some serious credit.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
like that team just is full of huge stars. It's not like they're huge hitters. So to see Buster Posey and, to see after he went down in that, what was that, a couple years ago when he really hurt himself. So see him be happy like that, get his 2nd ring. It's just.
Third.
He was on the 3rd? He was on that 2000? Okay.
He was the beginning of the.
I'm trying to give him less credit than he is due. But yeah, I mean, I think they're legit. I think that the Royals probably won't be back in a World Series. As much as I would like to see them, I don't know. Everybody was rooting for the Royals, but the Giants.
They're rooting for the underdogs.
Yeah, the Giants just showed their
story.
experience, I'd say.
Yeah.
So what did you take from that series?
I took that the Giants are amazing. One, because, like you said, they don't have a lot of hitting, a lot of power. So you think, oh, their pitching is going to carry them. And it did, but only one guy literally carried the team. The only other MVP I could have seen it being would have been Pablo, who hit over 400 in the World Series. But, man, literally the other starting pitchers were just horrible. So Madison Bumgarner literally carried the team on his back, and so that was exciting. But, yeah, Bruce Bochy is just an amazing coach, and I think that they're really lucky to have him.
Now, I saw a stat. I don't know if you were watching as closely as I was during the Game 7, but it said something about Madison Bumgarner was the first pitcher to win 2 games in the World Series and then pitch more than 3 innings in relief since 1909. And there had only been 2 guys to do that. And one of them was Cy Young. So anytime you're breaking,
I saw that. I was like,
anytime you're breaking records that are over 100 years old and there's a guy named Cy Young involved in it, you're normally doing a pretty good job pitching. So
I was almost confused when I saw Cy Young on a list. I was like, wait, isn't that an award? No, that's a real person.
That was, he was quite the pitcher, so that's exciting. Giants, I mean, they don't look like they're going anywhere either. I know they're, an even year? They win every even year, but they could be back next year for all we know. They look good, and I mean, they basically snuck into the playoffs, so congratulations to them. Hopefully the Rangers get a rematch with them someday in the World Series, but I don't think it'll be next year. But,
probably not.
Well, everybody, that pretty much wraps up the Texan Sports Minute. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you can tonight, get up to TCU. Like I mentioned, it will be in the Wilkerson Grimes Athletic Center instead of the Daniel Meyer Coliseum. Good luck to the Texans this weekend in Commerce, and also good luck to the Texan volleyball team finishing out the season strong. Thank you all so much. Y'all can always follow me at Texan News Sports, and everybody have a great week.
Bye.